mic's hot?
Steaming.
I was about to say some shit.
Like the cam's hot.
I was about to say something nutty.
Steaming.
I'll say it for after.
You still say it? Go
I can
ahead.
still say it? I can still
Yeah.
say it? You gonna
Yeah.
cut it later?
I'll cut it.
All right. I was going to say, for some reason, white women do love.
You are now with Demigod.
You know what happened at work the other day?
What?
Just-
Nothing crazy.
Sexually
I
harassed.
guess no, absolutely not.
No?
Not at the other day. It was a while ago. It was
Yo,
one,
what you do?
one of my coworkers, bro.
That's what it seems like.
Nothing crazy happened. I felt awkward. One of my coworkers, I was just like, I saw her walking. I was like, oh, you have a nice outfit on today. And I just kept walking. I thought to myself, why did I am I supposed to say that? Like, I can't say that, right? But I'm like, wow. I tell all my coworkers how Nestor dressed every single. I see a guy, yo, nice boots, yo, nice tie, yo, nice. You look good, bro. Nice fit. I like the aesthetic, like the combination. But when I told the girl you had a nice outfit, I felt awkward. I was like, oh my god.
I think once the person gets to know like your personality more, they're like, all right, he's just the person that compliments people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, because some people, they're not. Some people like to dress up and look nice or whatever, but they're not necessarily like receptive to comments. Like I know people that just like don't. They don't.
Time out.
They don't like getting complimented.
It was a short pause, but we all recognized like the millisecond pause.
Yeah, but you don't gotta make it hot.
Okay,
But I know a few people though that just don't like getting compliments. Like you feel me? Like that's just not like they could wear something for themselves or whatever, but the minute someone points it out, like it makes them feel uncomfortable. So her initial reaction could have not been what you expected.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
And then maybe that's what made you feel uncomfortable.
And I did. Yeah, like it's like people do those millisecond like their face changes, and I pay attention to that. So I recognized it. I was like, oh, I was supposed to say that. I was just trying to.
Yeah.
Wait, she looked uncomfortable?
Nah, it was just like one of those like it wasn't like a.
As long as you didn't like lick your chops, like God damn,
no,
girl.
Of course not. She wasn't
looking
like
crazy in that
like,
dress.
Thank you. Good looks.
I just had this conversation like because somebody asked me like, do I get annoyed with people complimenting my eyes? And I'm like, I'm not annoyed when people compliment my eyes. Like it's a compliment. It's good looking, but it's when you drag it out. Like you start trying to have conversations about it. Like, oh, who got those eyes in your family? You're not doing that. Like, you're not doing that.
Like that. So like if it's nigga, damn, where you cop those?
You know what I'm saying? Like
the womb, nigga, move.
Because it's just like when we get down to it, like your mother, your father, you're like, nah, then you going. Then somewhere down the line, I don't know down the line. Like, so we're not even gonna dig that deep at all.
That's just weird, bro.
Word.
When I had my dreads, you know how many people used to go, yo, can I touch your hair? How'd you get it like that? Da-da-da. And it's like, my nigga, look at my hair. If you want to compliment it, that's one thing. But once you start getting into conversations, like how do I maintain it? Ask me how did it take, how long it take to get like this? It's like, bro, Google it. Like if someone wants to know how you got your eyes, go look up recessive traits. Like I don't.
My thing is they act like it's something you can control. Like I can't give you a manuscript on like. So that's what maybe that's what it is. Like people just drag the compliments out.
Yeah.
Like,
But I think that depends because some people might have a crazy story and some people are willing to tell it. So it's like a hit or miss.
This shouldn't be This should be no story with a compliment.
Like I know some people who, for instance, like they're like redheads, right? And none of their parents are redheads. You ask them how they're redheads, like, oh, my great grandfather was a redhead. My grandpa, my family's from Irish.
That's people that just like to talk.
Like, yeah, they don't be knowing.
They don't be knowing nothing.
How far back can you really
know?
Because like you could see a picture, but the pictures were black and white.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
how you can tell in pictures, no?
I think for most people too, no matter what their defining thing is about them, because I have a friend who's 6'8", 300 pounds, and his nickname is Tree, and motherfuckers will walk up to him and be like, "Yo, you big as hell, bro." Like, nigga, I know. And they'd like start asking him, like, how you get so big? Like, how much you bench? So I think a girl, if a dude come up to her and hound her, oh, you look mad good. Like, if it's a compliment or if it's something that people always point out on you, like that's just gonna get annoying after a while. You feel me? Like, regardless of whatever it is, it could be a scar, it could be whatever.
I feel like you just be grateful.
Yeah, but you don't want to do the same thing everywhere you go. Because he carries the same eyes everywhere he goes.
Yep.
Fucking Tree carries the same height with him everywhere he goes. I've literally witnessed his mood change because someone came up to him and just started asking him about his size and how big he is and how much he benches and what's it. But if it's something you have to deal with all the time, that shit is just annoying.
Especially like imagine someone has never met you before. They don't even know nothing about you. They see you, they're like, wow, whatever's interesting about you. And they're like, yo, bro, like this is they don't know you. They don't know that's a pain point. They don't know that everyone asks you that. They have no idea. So that's kind of like your perspective as a receiver on it.
It's more. But at the end of the day, it's coming from like a selfish standpoint because it's just like you're not doing it to like retain information so you know me later on down the line. You're just doing it just for out of interest.
Yeah,
Like,
that's just low-key small
a fun
talk.
fact
So-
to you. So I'm not a fun fact type of guy.
That's
Like,
interesting. So is it like you should stay from people's appearance? Because like, what if you had like, let's say, like you had a Master Studios on your chest, and someone became real inquisitive about like your brand. You didn't want to take it with the same like, yo.
That's purposeful though.
That's what I'm saying. So like maybe it's like when people are commenting on your appearance, people are like, all right.
Like I'm opposite of Sean. My shit's the same color. I put in like dark contacts so I don't get that, you know. But like when I pop these bitches off, my shit's like green, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Everybody know that.
I mean,
that
my thing, but this is what I'm saying. Like, it got to be like a duality of it. Like,
I don't know what that word
if
means.
duality,
Yeah.
both like
it's just two sides.
Yeah.
To it.
Okay.
So it's just like if you want to sit there and you want to allow someone to pinpoint all the good things about you, when curiosity raises when they see something as far as like a scar or something, are you willing to have those tough conversations? Are you willing to ask those tough questions? If you're not willing to accept the duality of the aspect, then don't do it. That's my thing. I don't mind tough questions. You can ask me tough questions. I don't fabricate nothing or nothing. I answer them. But if I will ask someone else that, then it will be, oh, you're rude and you're this, you're that. So
I think you do have to be mindful of certain things that you like when you, I don't know, when you talk, me personally, when I'm talking to certain people, like if there's something on them that's like obvious, you feel me? Like I'm not gonna completely like just right away comment on that one thing. Like I'm gonna try to have a conversation from a different angle. Feel me? Have a conversation that they might not get asked all the time. Like you can assume that somebody with nice eyes get asked about their eyes all the time. You can assume that someone that's tall gets asked if they play sports or how tall are they all the time. So I'm not gonna meet a tall person.
What if there's a person, and there's people out here like this. There's a person out there who you might be one of the only people who think they have nice eyes. And if you don't tell them, then they don't get a compliment ever.
What?
And when you do tell them,
wait, no, go back.
Oh, there's might be something you like about someone, nice eyes, something. They have nice glasses or something. You like something about them. Yeah. And if you don't tell them you like it, then that person never gets a compliment. And when you do tell them, it really makes their day.
But that's what he said. He said compliment and keep pushing.
This is what I'm saying.
It's the conversation behind it. Like if someone walked up to whoever was like, oh, like you're mad pretty, yo, you're mad tall, yo, you mad muscular. Yeah. Like, oh, I see you get it in the gym, whatever. But you don't have to sit there and ask them like, oh,
this is a perfect equation.
Yeah.
You could equate it to a DM slide. Like a chick will post a book. Yo, that's a good book.
Yeah.
What's your name, number? Like,
yeah.
It's one of those type of things. Like, don't stretch it. Compliment. That's it. Go about your day.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're inquisitive, you should just like, can I ask you a couple questions? Like, don't just start.
But it's funny because like that same way, like I met Nilo that way. Like,
he was different.
Yeah,
he was different. Like, just asking mad questions. He was the epitome of it.
Maybe that's for the opposite here. It's like,
where you from? How you get here? What?
But you see, it's my boy now, though, right? So like the same time, it's like, but I could tell it is, you know what I'm saying? There's some people who like, yo, don't talk to me. But at the same time, it's like you might meet Sean.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a risk worth taking.
You're batting 300 at this point, right?
At that point, exactly.
But I think that might be the duality behind it. It's like those people that get asked about a lot, they have the right and they reserve, you know, the emotional space to be like, this is annoying.
Yeah.
And the other people, you do have the right to ask the question, but just don't drag it. Like, just don't make it too much of what it doesn't need to be.
I remember once when you guys remember I had a mustache for a little bit?
Yeah.
Right? So I remember going out with it.
Movember.
And then at one point, I was out at a bar and this other dude with a mustache sees me and he looks at me and he's like, I like the stash, man. And I was like, thanks. And I kept it pushing. I was like, we ain't about to do this right now. We're not about to have this like mustache moment.
That would have been a dope moment.
You know what I'm saying? Nah.
It would have been a dope moment, bro.
You ever heard about combing it up and then combing it back down?
A conversation about mustaches.
I'd be weird as hell. Like, even if I was
bro.
Overhear it, I'd be like, these things.
Yes. That's what I was like, we ain't doing this, bro.
Saying
Mm-mm.
talking about
How you
mustache,
stop
niggas
moving?
wild.
But
Yeah.
you could have been, it could have. I don't know.
I think that there's a certain way to like navigate small talk to where it's like it's
Yeah.
not it's not like it's not weird,
When I'm
right?
navigating small talk, I'm trying to get it off of small talk as fast as
Nah, I
possible.
don't do small talk.
No, I try to get it
But-
off of
but
small
you-
talk as fast
you-
as possible.
To a certain extent, you do have to
Yeah.
like you don't have to like pull up on somebody and ask them how the weather's going or whatever.
Mhm.
But like when you first time meeting somebody, you be like, oh, like what's good, whatever.
Yeah.
You might have a conversation about something. Like our first time talking, and I met you that day. You started talking about your trip over to the museum.
Yeah, I don't
And
even
then-
remember when was the first time.
That was the first time I met you. The day we did the
museum?
day 30 vlog,
Yeah?
episode 30
That's the
vlog.
first time you met Sean?
Yeah,
Oh.
Yo, look at
Oh.
that.
when we went to the
You were on the
museum.
first vlog.
Yeah, so
yeah,
but you were talking about like your trip over there, whatever, and I was asking you the route that you usually come from and shit like that.
but that's not
But
small.
that is
That's
small
not
talk,
small
though.
talk.
That's not
No,
small
no,
talk.
that's not
Small talk is menial shit though.
That's not small
I
talk.
didn't meet Sean, and I'm like, oh,
Sure.
like what is all your thoughts and beliefs in life?
Bro, that's not small talk.
That is small
No,
talk.
bro, trust me.
That's
Trust.
but
That's not small
that's
talk.
still the
How's that not small talk?
Small talk
Because
was
that's
this.
Wait,
direction.
what was it?
This
Say
is
it
small
again?
talk.
We're talking about his commute. That's small talk.
Santi, this is small talk. How you doing?
That's small talk.
What's your name?
That's still a classification
If
of
you're
small talk.
deepening it, like you're
Nah.
trying to get deeper and you start asking like open-ended questions about his trip, that's no longer
You know
small
why
talk.
it's not small talk?
That's no longer small talk.
Because from that trip and that conversation, the next time you go to the museum and if you drive, you're gonna recount back to that. So
That's
you
not
attain
right,
some
yeah.
type of knowledge from it.
Yeah.
Anytime you're going down a conversation that has open-ended questions, it's not small talk.
But I
Small
think of a
talk-
question like that, that's like an opener to a further conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
that's
But
what I'm
they
saying.
let
It's small
small
talk
talk.
to
But
But
lead to
small
the,
talk to me
wow,
is just
the
like
couches are separated right now.
What?
small
Fuck yeah. I disagree with you, motherfuckers. Right?
small talk to me is just like closed
Yeah.
statements.
Yeah. Like,
Like for instance, if you ask me like, how was your commute? Busy.
Oh.
Like
Okay.
is it always
traffic.
So
busy?
depending on your reply.
No,
it's kinda
that's
how-
dry conversation. I
No,
think
bro, trust me. That's like if I'm like, yo, I like your shirt. Where'd you get it? That's cool. That's dope. What's the brand? Oh,
that shit is annoying, bro. Like that shit really get me mad. Like just don't text me. Don't text me. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. Don't none of that. Like why you feel it? I don't understand why people feel the need to talk like that.
yeah. Nah. But welcome back to another episode of the Demigod Chronicles. This is your co-host Christian Lopez. We're here back with two of my other co-hosts, Santi Dyer and Jace, and we got a special guest to us, Sean. Now let's go
Special
around the table.
guest?
Let's go around and have them all introduce themselves.
These niggas is cooking.
Asante hating. Asante over here hating
I
because I
was about to give
still
him so much credit. Yo.
Word.
Yo,
I
he
was
caught an
going hard.
opportunity, seen Asante looking at his phone. Oh, he's fucking up,
I'm
not doing
coming
his
for it,
job.
baby.
I'm coming for that.
That was, and
I was looking up
and I-
small talk.
and I
You
was
fucked up.
no,
Yes, bro.
no,
You got so
no.
close to it.
They-
yo.
I was off the
Damn.
top, nigga. Nothing. They hating on me. God.
Snap, snap, snap.
What's up, guys?
Thank you for that beautiful intro, Chris.
Anytime.
Yeah, we back. We got another recording day. I just looked up small talk. I'm gonna say what it is after, and we chilling.
Yeah. What's up? It's Jace here, hanging out, watching the game in our peripheral as we do this podcast. Because, we got,
Gotta get it in.
prioritizing, but
Quick question.
multitasking.
Quick question before we introduce the guest. Does the mic pick up the airplanes? in the
Probably
background?
a little bit. I didn't have the
We
headphones
can
on.
close the
when I
windows because the AC busting. Can you put like the music when the music plays?
And to be honest, this Sean fourth time back. We don't even
Yeah.
gotta introduce him for
No,
us.
No, we got to introduce him all the time because he just graduated
But-
from college. Let's get a round of
Yeah,
applause for
I
my
was gonna say,
brother.
we gotta introduce the new and improved Sean.
Improved, right?
Yeah,
Had a little separation.
yeah, my boy. We want to give a very, very special congratulations to this young man right here. He just achieved his master's in the study of.
School counseling specialized in
Mm.
crisis and trauma.
You feel me?
Sir.
So young kids out there, you gonna have somebody to connect with, and he gonna make sure he doing what he doing, But what was that? We talked a little bit about that
Yeah.
before. But what was that process for like you going back to school and like really like getting that shit done?
I always tell people like my initial standpoint, like of going to college, I did it out of desperation. Cause it's just like where I grew up at. Like I grew up in the inner city. So anytime you hear someone say, "Oh, you got to do something with your life." Going to college kind of like
Yeah.
was up there on it. So that was my initial idea of college, just going out of desperation, just me trying to do something with my life.
Mm-hmm.
Then as I went on and I started to like do my research and figure things out, I started to see that I could really do something with it. Like, so I was majored in history. Then I knew I wanted to go.
Same. Had to get out of that shit.
Yeah, I knew. I did my
10-page
research on it.
essays
I
on
realized
dumb
there's no money in history. I'm
Nah.
not fit to be a
Teach.
teacher.
That's it.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what's
So-
crazy, bro? All my professors, they're like, "Oh yeah, like I don't like calling you guys history majors. Like once you graduate, you're gonna be a historian." And I was like, "That shit sounds good, but the only path is go be a published author or
Yeah.
go
Can
teach."
can we stamp this conversation? I want to have this conversation today. I was thinking about this today too. Like,
Have right now.
like no, that's I want him to finish what he was saying first. But I want to come back to this degree conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but yeah, so I switched out of history and I switched over to child and adolescence. But it was just a dynamic of like after I got my associates, I was about to drop out because I'm like, I know I'm not gonna make money with these degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So just doing my research, I came across school counseling, and I realized like I could do what I want to do. I could work with kids, and also I can make an honest living with it. On top of that, there's so many other things that come with it, as far as like becoming a licensed counselor and things of that nature. Whereas though, like I can make more than a comfortable living.
Yeah.
So that on top of me, like just having my childhood issues, like growing up, because I've done in my childhood, I've done went through it all. Like I was put in all those classes, I was classified, the whole nine. So I know it. And once I finally got the chance to intern, and I really saw like men, period, is non-existent in counseling fields, and Black men don't exist. I really I think during my time working in the school, came across probably one or two Black men that were counselors. So it was just like, oh, all right, this is, to me, I look at it as like a lane that can be just an avenue of income for a lot of black men.
Yeah.
That we could take over for real. Because not realistically, it's majority of the job is white women.
Yeah. A lot of the things that we might have learned growing up too, it all comes from like different types of people. Because I remember I always had like lady counselors in school. I think I might have had one guy ever, and that was like my sophomore year of high school, and he was a history teacher.
And that's it. I want to say too, like, because I know we said this before on the pod, but some things I say get a little. People would consider some things I say as extreme. That's the word.
He made a statement in
But I would say his story is a perfect example because, like, with the college thing, he did research, and I always say, bro, like, that is sometimes $60,000, $50,000 investment for over a 4-year period, and people don't do they don't look into it research. Like he looked in and researched. Okay, what could I do? How can I make an honest living? What's the lane? What's the outcome of this? Like, I think you have to but remember, some people said I was crazy. Like, no, it's about what you're passionate about and like what's your dream. I'm like, bro, I get having passionate dreams, but this is an investment. Yeah. You got to think, if I'm gonna spend 60 racks here, is there a better way that 60 racks could be spent? Right. And if there's not a better way it could be spent, then I'm gonna put it here. But if the return on investment isn't great here, then I'm better off putting these 60 racks somewhere else. And that's a decision you have to make with an investment. But I feel like people don't even look at college like an investment.
that shit has to make sense for everybody. Because I feel like senior year especially, I remember teachers, like they were so like I don't even know what to call it, like erratic. Like to like get everyone to like, figure out what you want to do. Like you have to, like, you want college, trade school, like you want to go to the armed forces. And it's like, I feel like a lot of kids, like I know some kids, freaking Bills, he almost went to do some shit that he didn't really necessarily want to do, but he might have felt pressured because everyone was making a decision like right now.
No
like
way.
You got to normalize, like, all right, but being able to take a step back, right? And I could like really think about that shit and be like, all right, what does the armed
Yes.
forces look like for me? What does college look like for me? What does trade school look like for me?
Yeah.
If I go do this trade school, and I went to school with some people and I played football with some people, my boy Marin, Vic, and Pally, like they started their own, they like have their own renovation company, all that shit. Like,
Tough.
you feel me? Marin, he's in the a union and everything now. So it's like
Tough.
that route for them, like they played football and everything. Yeah, they could have went to school route, but that shit made more sense to them.
Tough.
And now they're like 24, 23, really getting to it. And it's like
Yeah.
that field made sense for them, and that's their path. Like,
Yeah.
but I feel like you said, like a lot of people, especially counselors, all the counselors I've ever had were older, and it's like they grew up where it's like, all right, you're 18, you're an adult now. Like, you got to leave the house. You got to either go get a job, start a family, you do this, do this, do this. And it's like technically, like our lives don't like really run in that same bubble anymore. It's like a lot of parents, you know, they do require things from their kids like earlier than other parents or whatever. But at the same time, like when I look at my dad when he was my age, like my dad had already came back from Italy. He was stationed over there for 4 years. He was going to school at Auburn. He had his own apartment, like all this other shit. And it's like, I look at my friends, like we just graduated school and we all just came back home. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, it's a different like life expectancy and shit now. So you feel me? So like the dynamics of everything is all different. So you just have to think about like what's really good for you.
Yeah.
Nah, picking out. It's like I always feel like, because I've always been told that I was wiser beyond my years.
Mm.
But with that compliment, I also understand there's certain shit as a man that you just have to live to experience.
Quick question, let me ask you. You always get that compliment. Does that annoy you?
Nah, it doesn't, because it's just like I'm at the point where it's just like I just have to fully accept it.
Okay.
Like even if I'm with dudes around my age and I see them doing shit that a typical person in their mid-20s would do, and I'm not in that type of vibe, then it would be one of those moments where you just like, yeah, like that's just what it is. But it's just like, just to get back to you speaking about the counselors, and I never had a male counselor. And the only time I had a male counselor is when I got in trouble.
Yeah.
So he wasn't even a counselor.
He was a
disciplinarian.
disciplinarian.
But the thing is, like,
I used to always be in that nigga office, bro.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, like, the less I got in trouble, the less I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like there was realistically no type of male presence inside the school for me at all.
And you liked seeing him? You guys got along good? Like, you guys developed like a relationship?
Yeah,
kinda?
That's the crazy thing.
So
like,
almost like in a way you started to feel rewarded for negative behavior, because it's like,
but that's the thing. Like,
that was the only way you get to go see this dude that you can like rely on.
It more so because all right. So imagine you dealing with women, and I mean, my bad. Women are dealing with you as a young boy. They don't understand the body of a young boy.
Mm-hmm.
So you're erratic. You're fidgety. You're jumping. You're doing this. You're doing that. You might be a little disrespectful, talking back, all that.
Yeah.
And then he go downstairs and you go tell him the story. It don't seem like a big deal to him because he understands it because he was there before.
Mm-hmm.
So they send you back upstairs to her, and now she got an issue with you because she think y'all like partners.
Yeah. You know how many stories I have like that, bro? That's crazy.
What I'm saying. So
and the crazy thing about that too is even as a kid, I can remember like having, like I said, female counselors and stuff like that. I remember once school stopped, like, and I had an actual like counselor, like a camp counselor, and I had a dude for a counselor. And I swear, like, I think that summer, like, he made me like fucking 3 times cooler. Just because like he went to school, bro. He fucking had all the feats. He played ball. And like he would just like talk to me about certain shit. And he'd be like, yeah, like when I was your age, I used to do this, whatever. And it was still game that I got from like having older brothers, but you know, it's always different getting something from like somebody outside your village. So hearing about how he goes to school and he get good grades and he cut hair at school, and these are some things that, you feel me, I ended up doing like myself. And I'm not saying it was a direct influence of that, but I always thought that shit was cool as a kid, like being able to look forward and see that, because he was further than my oldest brother. My oldest brother was still in high school at that time. So he was giving me perspective on college. And the only other perspective I got from a male on college was my dad. And he had went to Auburn 20 years prior to me being born. So that whatever he was
Yeah.
saying was outdated. So
Yeah.
being able to get that like in the real right now, he was like telling me about like that's when College Hill was on TV and you know the
Yeah.
spring breaks and all those. He was like, yeah, you just gotta. He was like, college not that hard. You gotta do your work and do it. And he made it feasible for me in my young mind to see myself doing that.
But that's the crazy thing. Like during my molding like stages, as far as like being a young boy, like adolescence and everything, I never realistically thought of college as an option.
Yeah.
Because mind you, you're talking about a kid that dropped out the 6th grade twice. Like I graduated from grammar school, I was 16. So now I'm counting the years. I'm like, God damn, I'm gonna graduate at 20. Like, I'm not about to do that. Like, so in 2009, I'm thinking like I'm not going to high school.
Yeah.
So everything just happened so fast for me. I end up in Catholic school, then I end up in another Catholic school, then I finish high school in 3 years. So it's just like, dang, like what? Like, I just flipped that, and before I know it, I got my master's. So it's just like, but there were always instances where I was like growing up, I would see kids who were doing the whole school route the right way, and I was always, it was one of those things where it's just like, that's tough. He doing that. Like, but it never really correlated to me because I put it to you this way. It took me 5 years to get out of grammar school. It took me 3 years to get out of high school. It took me 5 years to get my master's.
Yeah.
So
it took you 5 years to go from 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Because I dropped out of the 6th grade twice.
And you know what's the crazy thing about that? I think like the thought process behind that, because I pretty much had the same thought process. I did 6th grade over, so I got left back. Whatever. That's how I met this guy. He was in a grade under me, but
What you doing here?
like
I'm back again.
word that ass.
Back again. man.
Like the thought process of that was always like, I remember going to school with kids, right? And I remember sophomore year we took our driving test, and I remember start of junior year, niggas already talking about, oh, like what car they thinking about getting when they get their driver's license. All the kids I was hanging out with, that wasn't our circumstance, so we wasn't even thinking about no make or model. Niggas just trying to get their L's. You feel me? Like that was just it.
Yeah.
So I think the same thing applies to like college. Like if you come from a family that's like, you're gonna have to either play sports, get a scholarship that way, or do it, you feel me, through academia, regardless. Like college isn't like a definite thing in your head. So you're not gonna think about it like, oh, after these 4 years, I'm gonna do this and do this. It's like, oh, I'm gonna see where I'm at financially, or I'm gonna see where I'm at physically in my sports or whatever after my senior year coming. And then out there, like, you wasn't thinking about Muhlenberg your freshman year, like, oh, can't wait to go to MU.
It was just football.
Like, you feel me? So it's like, or MC, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's like people I know that went to schools that was like their dream school since like sophomore year, like, oh, I want to go to Penn State. Like junior year, like, oh, I want to go to Syracuse. It was like me, whatever schools came knocking on my door is like, all right, offers. Literally for us, it's offers, bro. Like that when I got my first scholarship offer, and like I was talking to this coach, and like I was just really thinking about that shit. I'm like, he's literally offering me an opportunity to go to college, and it's an offer for us more than anything because we wouldn't get that opportunity if it wasn't for some of the things that we was doing. You feel me?
I think that's the most draining thing about my college experiences. During my high school days, I was having my senior year. I had a good senior year.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking in my head, I was one of those kids that it was just like, I just did this. First time my school went to this. So you're not telling me I'm not playing in college.
Yeah.
So I had 5 offers, whereas just like I could pick whichever one I want to go to, but situation happens with my high school. They didn't tell me I was missing an English course. So I ended up having to sit out a whole year for one class.
Yeah.
So I called the coaches back. Oh, we can't give you a scholarship, but you can still come. Click. I was just hanging up on them. I went down the road. I promise you,
bro. Same shit with me. I went to prep school. Niggas had me taking uncertified classes, bro.
I called. I'm ready to come. We gave the scholarship away. Click. I'm ready, back to back. So now I was dealing with the whole idea of like, all right, I'm not gonna play ball in college. So I've accepted that. So I'm starting to look at the whole thing in totalities. Now I'm looking like, all right, I'll still go away to school. Then I saw the categories. as far as like out of state, in state, room and board, that's out the picture. I don't come from no family where I could just like,
Yeah.
and I'm not taking. That's the thing. That's what I mean by being wiser beyond my years. Like some people would think, oh, I'm going to college, I'm gonna go away. Like they rack up that 80K and then just be losing their mind when they graduate. I was with no guidance. I was 22, 21, looking up room and board, in state, out of state. I'm like, I'm staying in state and I'm not going on. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Just to make it easier on me. I mean, it worked out in the end. Because I still had to take a hit, but my hit ain't nothing compared to what I be hearing.
Nah,
out
hey,
here,
yo,
like,
some people, you know, they take those loans out just because they want to get out of mom and dad's house, you know.
Yeah, bro.
And they
Bro, I
fucking-
know.
they major in like art.
I know
Come
some.
on, bro.
I know some.
Relax.
I know some people. I ain't gonna say no names, obviously. I know a person in particular who probably up to like maybe going up to like 200K plus debt. Like I'm talking about
What
taking
kind
out,
of degree? Please tell
Nah,
me it's
bro, crazy.
tell me they're
Already got a
getting, like,
bachelor's.
MD.
No, got a bachelor's. Not one master's, 2 masters,
oh, they got double masters, bro.
and now trying to go to med school. But the crazy part is, took out loans to support their life.
Mm.
Like
so they ain't have to take out.
so, like took out student loans,
You
but
kind of
like
got it, man.
I'm
If you're
going
gonna-
to like on a trip with this student loan money.
The double masters, did they do it at the same time?
No, got a master's.
separate-
Yeah, that's crazy. I ain't gonna front. Like,
Yeah.
there's only 1 year that I had to take out loans for, and that was the year that I had to go into the ISO. Same situation happened with me. Basically, my school had me taking a class that I didn't need. So when I went to go sign my NLI, I literally signed it, faxed it, and my shit came back. They was like, yeah, we sent it in the clearinghouse. Like, it's null and void. Like, we can't have you on campus. I'm like, what? So I had to take a whole year,
that
sit
happened to
out.
me.
and then I had just applied to go to the community college to play at, whatever. Because the coaches, I was still in contact with him, thank God. And he was just like, you just need like 1 semester of just like college grades or whatever. And then, you feel me? You could pull up. And then I ended up going to Dean, stayed there for a full year, had like a 4.0 when I left there. And
You got a thing,
bro, that shit, like, cause I was there and I'm like, bro, I'm paying for these grades. I'm used to being on scholarship, even in prep school. Like my prep school was
Yeah.
comp basically. Like I was just like, nah, like I'm paying for these classes. I'm going to class. I'm doing this.
Listen,
I'm
bro.
doing that.
But that
So-
feeling, bro, like being on campus and having to, because that happened to me.
Yeah.
I was on St. Thomas Aquinas campus and basically like getting acclimated. It was basically like a visiting, but it wasn't really a official visit. 12:30 high school, like April, May, June. No, April and May because we got out in May, right?
Yeah.
So April, like towards the end of the year, 12:30, I'm out. like crazy part is I still pass with all these.
Mhm.
Shout out to Catholic school. Like, but I'm on campus, get the call, yo, you ain't get cleared. So the coach is like, yo, you gotta get on campus, bro. Like,
Shit hurt, bro.
so it's just like, what? You kicking me out?
Literally, that year I had to take out that loan, bro. I went crazy in football that year, and I went crazy in the classroom. I was just like, I got to put myself back on the radar to get a scholarship, and I ended up getting like 3 offers out of that to D2 schools, and I was cooling, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, me getting dogged as far as sports wise, shit turned me into a monster in a book. So that's what really locked me in. Like, cause it was just like I always struggled I struggled with certain subjects. But once the ball like stopped for me, it's like the whole all that energy just
Mhm.
transferred. And I was
He
just like,
talked about that before. It's just like it's in you. You gotta, yo, Bills. You played football this year? How good was your grade this year, bro? I'm telling you, it's like once you not doing it, bro, it's just like it's an automatic clicking because it's just like you gotta convert it to something else because your downtime you really just cooling. So it's just like,
bro, I left community college with like a 3.7. I'm like, what the fuck? I was dead looking into going into Columbia. Did not discover Casamigos and all that shit. So I was like, fuck it. We just no, actually, one of my I was having a conversation with my OG, and I was one of those dudes that like to just hand shit in like early or on time.
Mhm.
So I used to stress a lot. Like I work nights, used to come home, do homework, sleep for an hour, back up, do it. He was just like, yo, like go outside and go enjoy yourself. Cause the dude right behind you just got back from spring break. And y'all about to get the same piece of paper.
Yeah.
Like it's no GPA, you don't get no stickers, you don't get no plaque, you don't get nothing.
Yeah.
Y'all about to get the same piece of paper. As long as you
I heard a
got-
professor say in class, C's get degrees. He's like, just show it, man. C's get degrees.
Nah,
I
I
said,
would,
this
I
nigga's
would,
being paid.
now I would say I would tell every student graduate with at least a 3.0.
Yeah.
That's what they told us in Muhlenberg, like our freshman year. They're like, if you
For what?
want to, because you said if you don't get at least a 3.0, you can't put on your resume. Like if you have less than a 3.0, they don't put your GPA on your resume. But if you get over a 3.0,
Oh, your GPA. You're
Yeah.
saying, oh, I thought you meant
Put
like
your
your
GPA.
diploma. I'm like,
No,
what?
no,
the
no,
school
no,
don't
no.
claim you?
they said if you get over
Nah,
3.0,
they didn't graduate
then-
from here with a 2.7. He ain't no
so
alumni.
a job knows if your GPA is not there, it's because you got lower than a 3.0.
Oh, okay.
So that's one of the requirements.
It's just a good look. Like if you have your GPA on your resume, like say a entry level job, after a certain point,
I met
It
some
stops
people,
matter.
bro, and
It
I
stops
just
matter.
realized that people lie in their resume, bro, like bold-faced lies.
I'm out to
Because people don't fact check shit, bro.
every job I've ever had fact checked me.
Bro, if I have my degree
Mhm.
and I was to put like 3.7 on that shit or some shit like that, you think they're really hitting up Long Island University to see if I'm on a
Bro, I
list
had
with a
school.
3.7?
I had jobs make me give them my transcripts
For what?
for the job. Like give me your transcript.
But he works in
Oh,
the
yeah,
mountains,
yeah,
though.
yeah.
Nah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. And some of those transcripts not free. You gotta pay for them.
I was at Chris' graduation. My mom was like, see, she was like, they announced his name with the cum laude. So I was like,
Bro, I was tight at my graduation. I had a 3.69.
yeah.
A
played my boy.
3.7 is a cum sum laude. some shit like
Summa
that.
cum laude.
And I was just a 3.69, bro. I was sick.
I said, I ain't gonna be loudy. Y'all could yell loudy when they say my name.
Yeah,
That's
I
about
ain't-
it.
I think in grad school, I don't think I did that bad. I think I had like a 3.4.
That's great
like
GPA.
Yeah. That shit, bro. It's just honestly, college, bro. It's just a journey that you just got to get through, bro.
But that's
I still got a year left on my shit, bro. I
Have
still
fun.
gotta.
Yeah, no.
It's
So 2 semesters, right?
yeah, because bro, after the pandemic, it's like I literally came home and just like I'm still on spring break. Like
Yeah.
fucking 2 years later, came home on spring break 24. Looked up fucking 26.
It's crazy, right?
But like I said, shit is a journey, bro. You just gotta make your way through it. We about to take a little break in the middle. You back from the break? Sean got this week's song of the week.
This song of the week is by Big Nine, Loso,
Mhm.
and Loso. It's called Spinnin.
Okay.
So
That was dope, bro. The beat was tough.
Yeah,
The
a lot
beat
of
was tough.
energy.
yeah,
I know that's family business too. So
family business.
definitely like that.
I love how like that like this like northeast area took over like the London drill and kind of like added
Yeah.
its own little.
Oh, that wasn't just me. I feel like I heard it a little bit too.
Nah,
Like, I was
definitely
gonna say
drill,
at
but
first,
they
it
like
sounded very like
you could tell the
South
difference between like London drill and like northeast
Yeah.
drill. Like it's just like a variation of it.
Yeah.
So I like that they did that. So that's cool.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That was a dope ass song.
Did Pop Smoke
I like
start that?
No.
Who was the first one to do it?
Like
Pop
to-
Smoke.
to-
Pop Smoke. I would say
RP.
he was the glue to it.
Yeah,
Mm.
he did it the best.
Okay.
But there was other people in his
Five do
area
cool.
doing it before him.
Not even a since
Five will do it good too. I like
Yeah, he
Five
does.
music.
you gave him his old name.
Five that's his name.
Fabio?
Yeah, I thought it was Fabio. You gonna call him Fabo? Tell the time you want.
Fabio, my fault.
Nah,
Fabio.
because even like the mellow 808 mellow dude, I'm pretty sure he's from the UK. Like
Yeah.
they had artists that the beat they was using,
No, but that's what I'm saying.
and they came and
Pop
got them. I
Smoke.
guess. Yeah,
That was Pop Smoke.
His man's, yeah.
Yeah, man's. But I think if you think about it, like Pop Smoke kind of eliminated that UK New York drill beef. Because remember, like back then, they was talking about, oh, they taking our beats, and he kind of
because they don't even call it drill over there; they call it grunge.
Oh yeah,
Grime.
Yeah. Grime. There you go.
It's tough though. I like
grime.
Like you guys listed like Davey and Heady One and Storms. They really, they good rappers, bro. They could rap.
They just don't.
Wally.
They could rap, bro.
But I ain't gonna front. I've been kind of like, because I watched Top Boy recently for the first time, and I binged all the seasons. I fuck with it, right? So there's always been in America like prominent British actors that just take mad American roles. So I'm like,
we had that conversation.
Yeah, we talked about that before, and it's like I wanted to see what the others like. I'm like Top Boy was dope. Drake is from Canada. He took it over and like revamped it and shit and repackaged it how he wanted to. So I was like, I want to see what British TV look like. So the dude that plays Duchesne, his name's Ashley Walters. I fuck with him, and I like looked up some other show he was in. I started watching that. He's like a cop in that show, and then he was in like another movie. And the other dude that played Jamie from Top Boy, he was in another movie, and I was watching it. And it's a movie. I think it was on Netflix before, but it's called Blue Story. I don't know if you ever seen it, but the movie is like. It's on some like the same way how we had what's the shit that Meek Mill was in recently with the bikes and shit.
The 12 O'Clock Boys.
Yeah, like whatever that movie and stuff. Like it's a movie like that. Like it's a coming of age movie, like a kid growing up and like his older brothers into it and shit like that. And just seeing it come from like that perspective of like the British side, I'm like that shit's pretty cool because like I said, I always see them come here and conform to like our stuff. Like I don't. Like I've watched The Wire, I've watched like what like our hood TV shows would be. So like seeing how like their hood is portrayed and like that's just pretty dope. Cause like I don't know, whenever we see Britain, we always think of like like white British people and shit like that. So being able to see like black British TV, like I think that shit was pretty cool.
I recently watched Judas and the Black Messiah. Again, it's like my third, fourth time.
Yeah.
But it's just
makes me madder every time I watch it.
But my thing is like the only thing I don't like about it is like it don't really have no social effect because it's a known thing that British people don't relate to the African American struggle.
Yeah.
So something whereas like playing like if it was an American actor playing African American actor playing Fred Hampton. And Judas and Black Messiah, something great would have probably happened out of that. Like that actor would have probably did something to propel in some way, shape, or form. But since it was a guy from Britain, it kind of just get watered down to just a great role because he did play a good role, but that's all it'll ever be.
Yeah.
I think did you ever see Samuel L. Jackson say something about that? I think once when that movie came out, he said they mentioned to it. He was like, I mean, he's a good actor, but he literally said like almost what you just said. He's like, I would have liked to see what an American would have done with that role, And part of the reason said that they go for British is they're cheaper.
Yeah,
British actors.
They
can get them.
He did a good job like taking over the role and like he did voice training. So if you listen to Fred Hampton's tapes versus like how he was talking in the movie, like he picked up all his mannerisms stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like you do want to see what a person that's from that area is gonna bring to that table. I don't know. You watch Atlanta at all?
Snippets.
All right, so this is like an episode this season where Kevin Samuels is in. Actually, we never gave him an RIP on the show too. RIP to Kevin Samuels, man.
He was in Atlanta.
In the last season. So he was in the second to last episode. I think episode 8 or 9, 1 or 2. So in that episode or whatever, he's a college graduate, and he's coming back to not a college graduate, but he's a business mogul, and he's come back to his hometown. And he's renaming the high school he went to, and the name of the high school was Stonewall Jackson High School, right? So he was like, he was a Confederate soldier. Like he's like, I'm changing the name and putting my name on the school, and he was like, I'm paying for all the seniors' college tuition. And then like all the seniors started cheering, and he's like, who are black? So then all the white kids, they get mad and like whatever. But that whole episode is fire because the kid that's based in the episode, he like looked like Logic, like he's a black kid and white, but he like. Leans more to his white side, whatever. So he was talking to one of the kids, and he's like, he's like, I'm about to burn the school down. He was like, me too. He's like, why? You're black. You're getting a scholarship. He was like, nah. He's like, I told him I'm from Kenya, and he told me I'm not really black. He's like, because I could trace my lineage. And then he was like, well, yeah, I agree with him. He's like, you guys are like British people. He's like, you're not really black. And then like he was like, look at you. He was like you're only half black or whatever. But I'm like, the fact that like other black people in other areas, like we don't think of like we think of ourselves as African American. There's no African Americans in Britain. There's no African Americans in Uganda. There's no African Americans anywhere else other than America. So we'll like think of like our struggles or whatever and think we could connect with someone who's like born and raised in Africa. And they probably look at us like we.
Yeah,
you
but
feel me?
I don't think that separation does us any good though.
It doesn't.
But the crazy thing about that is, I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was an interview that Ryan Coogler did before he did the Black Panther. And he said before he did the Black Panther, he actually went and stayed a couple months out in Africa. And he said when he was out there, they threw a cookout. And he said one thing that really stuck out to him was like, we always think that we're that much different, but in reality, like some of the characteristics are still there as far as like in a cookout. Not majority of the time in a cookout in the African American home, the women are in the kitchen or in the house, the men are in the yards playing cards or talking, just bullshit, and then the kids is at the kiddie table.
Yeah.
He said it was the same thing in the sense of like in Africa, and a common fruit and that they were eating when he was out there was watermelon. And he said the reason why they did that, a guy told him, was because the watermelon contained the most water and the most minerals. So they were never, you sitting smack dab in the sun.
Yeah. Ain't no beach umbrellas and shit out there.
That's what I'm saying. So he just said we always swear that we're that much different and we're not.
Yeah. But I think the topic of the day is a hot topic in society right now. How you want to take it though? You want to talk about what happened? Or you want to talk about like solutions? You want to talk about like
solution? I wish I had
start thinking. Start throwing out ideas. What do you think will work? Not abstractly thinking.
We
Honestly,
got to brainstorm kind of a solution, but I feel like I've been like milling around in my head for a while.
We can have an abstract discussion of what we think.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about. We're gonna talk about gun. How would I frame this? Gun control or gun policies? Gun control policies?
Yeah.
How would you name
policy?
it?
Policy.
We're talking about possible policies.
Yeah. Control
to solve the issue.
People get a little antsy with that word.
I guess we'll throw out the obvious ones, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate just cause.
You're devil's advocate. I don't know why he just tried to like save himself. Like
it's fun, bro. It's always fun to think. You know what I mean? But what's the most obvious one?
Should faculty carry guns?
Oh, that's the most obvious. That's what I thought. The most common was like, take away assault rifles, right?
Yeah.
All right.
That's
semi-automatic weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that gonna stop you from?
It's untraceable. It's untraceable guns. We're at the point where people printing guns,
like flintlock.
You could 3D print guns.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
So how you going? You can't. Once something exists, you cannot take it away.
You can buy a gun. You can buy a gun that is literally just like a block of metal, and you just drill a couple holes. It's called an 80%. Drill a couple holes into it. Now it becomes a gun.
And to his point,
and it's not sold as a gun because it's not.
I was telling someone this to Sean's point. When you have something out, it's tough to take it away. What are you gonna if you say no more assault rifles, right? What's gonna happen when you go to the South and say, yo, guys, you guys have ARs? Please bring them.
Never.
Please bring them back. Let's say 30% brings them back. 40. What are you gonna do to the last 50 who says absolutely not? How are you gonna take them? It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
There's certain things in society that got outdated where it's like, all right, we're not gonna tell. All right, simple thing, right? There was like a certain thing that was in cars before, right?
Yeah.
That like it created emission problems, so they created like catalytic converters.
Yeah.
Where it's supposed to like take like the exhaust and do all this fancy eco shit, right?
Yeah.
And they recalled cars, but they like people obviously kept their cars. And like they're not going under every car to check to see if you got the piece changed or not.
Yeah.
But then it's like, all right, now you may be able to rock on a year for that, but like now it's no longer you won't be able to buy oil for that car anymore. or you won't be able to buy this,
I
you
see
won't
what
be able to
you're
buy that. So it's
Yeah.
like maybe you don't take the guns back, but
But
if
take
you
the
can't
ammo.
buy the weapons, if they can't go to ranges to shoot it, they can't. If you take things around it away,
But bro,
You
you know
know?
how the world works? This is what's gonna happen.
it's gonna create an underbelly.
All this is gonna really do is the price of ammo for AR-15 is gonna shoot through the roof. There's gonna be a group of people who are willing to pay that price for them and buy them. But then there's
Mhm.
gonna be a percentage that's not able to get it at all.
The simplest way I've seen somebody put it so far was like, all right, boom. Everybody's worried about, making something illegal that's not, or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. Murder's illegal, right?
Yeah.
People get murdered every year, at a rapid rate.
Legally and illegally.
Yeah.
right? So now, if murder was now
Yeah.
legal, mad people would be getting murdered, like just left and right.
You think if murder was legal, mad people would be getting murdered?
Absolutely,
Yeah, I think more than do now.
yeah.
More than they do.
But
I
I don't.
think-
I don't think every
Right.
person.
I
would
think
do
If
it.
people are
murder was legal, I think people would like
Hold on,
second guess before.
because
like-
that's not even the main
That's a
point,
good
right?
point, actually, too, right?
Yeah.
You might be more polite now. You know.
So if it was illegal, right, people are gonna do it. If it's not legal, people are gonna do it.
Yeah.
Just people have to understand that now, if I murder this person, I've run the risk of doing life in prison.
Yeah.
So it's just like you just create a barrier. People are still gonna do it. People are always gonna do it.
So something we learn in economics, or like a principle, is like people do what they're incentivized to do, right? So like with all this stuff with the mass shootings, I was wondering like you ever read like a manifesto of someone who does a mass shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
read the
I've seen
manifesto of that LA guy, the one who went on a murder of LA cops and their families.
Mhm.
So I read like his manifesto. And like basically he tried to do good in society and got punished for doing the right thing. And then he went crazy in the sense of like, all right, society's no good. The world needs to come to an end. Like the world's damned, yada, yada, yada. I gotta ruin the world. And then he went out and started doing what he's
That
doing.
kind of sound like the Joker. Movie
That-
The Joker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's crazy how you start the movie like this dude's
But-
weird, like
Yeah.
and you start agreeing with him about time. To
Even
end.
the new
But
Batman
That's
that came
why
out.
sometimes it's dangerous to like. I don't know. I do read some of that stuff. Like I remember, what was it? Virginia Tech back in the day.
Well, I was gonna
They
say
did
something. I was gonna
He
say
left like a
something.
video, and I remember.
Oh, what was that?
I remember seeing that video,
yeah.
and I
What
remember
was he saying?
like I was young. I don't remember, but he
Yeah.
was just like talking
Nah,
about
he
why
was- he was weird, man.
Yeah,
I
like
read an
why he was
article
doing
about
it.
that shit once.
Was it
And-
like the world needs to be?
it made me watching the video made me feel uncomfortable, and like I've read people's manifestos before, and it made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's
Weird
because
shit. Like imagine him in his room in front of a camera with like a coat on, just like guns. You know what I'm saying?
Like the
Just like that and like saying.
Did you see the new Batman?
Nonsense shit.
The new Batman.
yeah,
So it was like the Riddler on some stuff like that.
yeah, on some shit like that.
But I was gonna say, I was telling my boys because they were like throwing stuff out, and I asked them, it's like, I don't think we need to worry so much about guns. I think we need to worry about what about American society produces these people.
Yeah.
Like there's something about America that makes these people.
Yeah, because you look at the numbers everywhere else.
My issue,
For-
my issue about guns though
Yeah.
is when it comes to guns, it's not a moral thing. Like it's not. For
Mhm.
instance, like you can own any gun, but I believe you can't own a Glock 17 or hollow points.
Mhm.
But cops has them. So
Mhm.
why are cops knowing that they make the same mistakes or they
Yeah.
have the ability to murder just like a civilian?
Mhm.
Why do they get to like carry such thing when they're trying to strip it from us? So if they strip us from being able to own an AR,
Mhm.
then we have humans just in a blue suit, walking around with ARs. How is that ethical?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think the conversation is just weird because it's like, all right, boom, we obviously cultivated a society to where people feel the need to own a weapon, right?
Yeah.
Cool. We have amendments and we have rights to go with this stuff,
Mhm.
but something that was written fucking 200, 300, 400 years ago.
Mhm.
You feel? I mean, it hasn't been that long, but you get like something that was written and created for society. That even like if you look at society now, 50 years ago was completely different than what we're dealing with now. Like
Yeah.
those things need to be revised. I do believe that it's like the American audacity that we're like, oh no, like we have the greatest country in the world and we created it on a set of rules in the 1700s and we're still flowing properly off this one set of rules. with a couple little revisions to it.
Yeah.
But it's like the society that we created these set of rules for is no longer the society we live in today. People needed guns to defend acres and acres of land.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need an AR-15 to be living downtown Houston in an apartment building.
Yeah.
Right.
You feel me? So it's like
And I think at the same time, it's like I think we had this conversation about something else. Like things in themselves aren't bad, right?
Mhm.
Like a gun in itself is a useful tool,
Mhm.
depending on what you use it for. So, I guess background checks, but still, I'm very curious. Like what about America makes people do these heinous things? Like,
You know, like picking up where Santi left as far as like with society. You know what I don't like about it is we got this weird like boundary where we would talk about banning something or creating a policy, but still using it as entertainment. Like
Mhm.
a movie about mass shootings just happened last year.
what movie was it?
I forgot the name of it, but it was about this girl who was running around the school,
Mhm.
saving basically her classmates as they're getting shot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This movie came out last year.
Yeah.
But y'all talking about policies to protect kids and banning.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
And
sense to me. Like, how is it entertainment? But y'all still making movies to try.
And that's what I was, and that's why my point too before, like people do what they're incentivized to do. Some people get a thrill off of like seeing their face on the news or like seeing that they're famous and that they're gonna be remembered. in
Yeah,
history
and that's another
forever.
thing. Like, we all, for instance, like growing up as kids, we all introduced ourselves or was introduced to something as far
Yeah.
as sports, food, anything.
Mhm.
Whatever picked up our interest the most, that's what we took and we ran with.
Yeah.
So we already know that the internet is a wide open thing.
Crazy.
So if you click, and a kid comes across a mass shooting, and that picks up his interest, and then he becomes a fanatic of that, and then he starts looking up Columbine and Sandy Hook,
Yeah.
and it's a point where it's just like
Yeah. You get like the copycat
Yeah.
killers.
you get the
man.
copycat
And-
killers.
And what
Yeah.
scares me too, because like I remember I was reading an article once, and there's like pockets online that they don't convince people to commit suicide, but they talk very like
No, there's pockets.
yeah,
that
okay.
convince
So I
people.
didn't want to this I guess
Those 4chan channels
so
and shit
there's
like
this-
that, and
this-
Reddit.
Reddit was just something
Yeah.
that
It get
happened
dark,
with the
bro.
kids with like the Momo or something like that.
Yeah, shit
so
get dark,
even-
bro.
So like I'm thinking if there's pockets online that convince people to commit suicide, right?
Yeah.
There's 100% pockets online that's like encouraging, probably organizing people to do like mass shootings.
Bro,
And to me, that's like
Yeah, you get
There-
the full
there-
spectrum there, man.
all right. Have you ever seen what is it? Don't hurt cats or something? Don't.
Nah, I never watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
All right,
Yeah.
so it's a Netflix doc. It's like a mini doc series / movie
Mhm.
about this dude. His name was like Luca Magnotti.
Yeah.
And he used to like stream himself online, like killing animals, right? So he like put like a gerbil in like a blender.
Yeah.
He put like vacuum sealed
Oh,
cats.
Yeah, he need to be on watch.
Like he was like skinning like parrots and shit. He was just doing like crazy shit.
he had to be on watch, right?
But no, because there
No,
was a
Nick.
there was a community of people, right?
Uh-huh.
That was like, cheering this shit on. People was paying him, sending him badges, giving him ideas to do and all this other stuff. Because once again, when you're further removed from it, right?
Yeah.
It now becomes a show. Like I don't live in this dude's town. None of these are my animals. I can use this dude as a puppet and I can get him to kill something on a Wednesday night and it'll be for my entertainment, right?
Mhm.
So now when you have people like the dude from Buffalo who live streamed his full drive, live streamed him shooting the people,
Goodness gracious.
live streamed his arrest, all this other stuff, like it creates now.
He
like,
had people watching it, cheering him on and stuff.
I mean, I don't know if people was cheering him on, but I just know he streamed the shit and it was like viewers in there.
Hmm.
So like as far as like that goes, is like that creates things for people, just like a person. Now it's very easy if someone was to really go back and like, I fuck with the Beatles. Let me go look at John Lennon or whatever, and they look at his killer and what the reason why he killed him. It felt, oh damn, I feel the same way about this rapper. Like I don't want him to drop this tape. He's gonna ruin his career. Let me go and do what this dude did. Or I feel the same way about this guy. He felt like he should cleanse his community and he needed to bring just stupid shit, bro. Like there's
Yeah.
people that's like
Yeah.
in their mind, whatever they're doing, like it's rational enough for the reason that they're
So-
doing it.
So and then,
Fresh
and then
one.
and it's just
Yeah.
oh,
I
wait.
got a good point. Now you just made me think of something, because I've always said like I don't like how they go about reporting or even like the treatment of mass shooters, because if you think about it, like for instance, guy at Buffalo, he live streamed the whole thing. Now, first thing that I thought about was when the military live streamed killing Osama bin Laden. They even made a movie about it.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all can live stream that and we could literally see Osama bin Laden dead on the floor, then y'all can live stream y'all dropping his casket in the middle of the ocean. Why are we never up to date on, like, who knows what Dylan Roof looks like? We don't. We wouldn't
That's that
have
crazy white boy. I know he looks
that-
like.
Who's that?
No,
Buffalo? Which
now.
one's that?
That's
Oh,
that's the one that shot up the church.
Like what he's doing right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
what he's doing
Yeah.
now.
No one knows. No one
Yeah.
knows what he's doing
I know
right
he
now.
looks
No
like
one
him.
knows where these dudes are at.
Mm-hmm.
So we shouldn't, like, for instance, with Osama bin Laden, it was a conclusion to it. It was just like it was this. We threw him in the ocean.
That's just
It's closure.
Yeah.
There's never no close. Like this, the Buffalo, then the Texas shooting happens after that. There's never no closure.
Well, a good amount of them do kill themselves.
Yeah, and it's not
How? The
nah.
Superman.
It's actually lower now. That was trending before.
They don't
Like
kill
the Columbine shooters, they shot each other. They killed themselves. But like years and years, like the Virginia Tech dude, I know he killed himself.
So they should.
But it's been now
they should,
trending
like,
that
they
they're surviving.
They should post the videos of them just like in prison, rotting away. Like this is what happens to mass shooters.
But the thing is, like, all right, boom. I watched like two weeks ago. I watched
She mauled by dogs.
some shit on Netflix, right? And
Fuck
it was
that.
about this kid that when he was younger, he got kidnapped away from his family, right? And basically, this dude, like 2 towns over, was raising him as like a whole different person.
I think
And
I saw something.
he was too afraid his whole life, basically, to like come out and say like he wasn't who he was or whatever. And then like the kids in his neighborhood started noticing. So I think he was with the dude for like 7 years. He got taken when he was 7, and he returned back to his family when he was 14. The dude left one day, and he had brought another kid in, and like he didn't want this kid to now go through the same experience. So he took this 5-year-old, went to his nearest police station, was like, "Give me a ride to my hometown. Like they'll know who I am." They went to his hometown, like everybody knew who he was and all this other shit. So he got like a crazy. This was in the 70s, like a crazy media buzz, whatever. The dude ended up growing up. He had a family and shit, and then he just like got killed on his way home from work. Like he got hit by a hit off of his motorcycle or whatever.
Mm.
Now this dude had an older brother, and the older brother he said his whole life his family was just always in the media, and like he was just never relevant, right? And he was like, oh, like it just angered him that like people always like whenever you bring his last name, they'll talk about his little brother, whatever the case may be. So his thing was like he was like, I want to tarnish my family's reputation, and I want when my family's name come up, like people are gonna talk about me. This dude decided to become a serial killer, and he started going around just strangling women wherever they were from. And I think he killed like 5 or 6 people. Killed like a mom and a daughter. Like he would kill. He was working at a camping lodge, and he was a groundskeeper, and he would kill people as they were camping. So he ended up getting caught, whatever. And like when they went to the jail to talk to this dude or whatever, like he had a list already. He was like, all right, like you guys, for my brother's documentary, you guys had, this person, like make sure you don't hire that producer. Like I want this person to play me in my biopic. So his mind was already too far gone. The fact that he just wanted his whole life now to be made into a movie like his brother was. He was okay with dying in jail. He was okay with all that shit. So it's like there's certain people, bro, that's just like mentally, like they're like the shit that they're willing to do and the stuff that they believe in, they're too far gone, bro.
Let me
so
ask
it's
you a
like,
question.
hold on, like the fact that people can think that way, that just forums online that Christian was talking about, shit like this, there needs to be people looking through this shit, finding addresses, you feel like background checks, bro. Like, what did this person purchase? Why are they buying stuff to put together a pipe cleaning bomb? Like, you feel me? Like a pipe bomb, like all that shit. Like, it should be like there should be a team proactively, and it probably is. Looking through
The
forums,
Boston
looking
bombing,
through
that's another
places
one.
like that.
I want to ask you,
But then you
hold
get
on,
into like an
Jason, I wanna-
Orwellian like.
I want to ask a really good question. Like, should we cap everybody's freedom to protect from those people?
No.
Yeah, I don't think you should. It does. It sounds, because like people are getting hurt, but it's like I think you can't like that version of it, that is what conspiracy theorists would say is the point of all these mass shootings. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to really put like tinfoil hat people, they'd be like, no, that's what they're trying to do because they want to over control us. They want to over monitor us. You know, they want to know everything we buy. They want this, they want that. Because, you know. So
So what's
I'm
the
not
middle
saying
ground?
that's the case, but I just think that's like
But do you
you'd
think
be
things
proving
like
people's point.
so you think things like they said there's empirical, like there's evidence that background checks actually stops mass shootings. They said that in some countries that it's been proven.
But when they say background check, what does that mean?
Like right now,
Like we throw
like
that
if
word out
I
there,
saw
but
a
like, what's a
video.
real background check?
I think you could.
And
pretty
how do you
much-
move the goalpost of like what is
Like
like?
I can go to a
He
gun
has,
show.
he has no
I-
prior selling a drug.
if-
gun.
I can
Like
go to a gun show.
I create a goal of like, all right, you get within these lines, you can buy a gun.
Uh-huh.
How long before that starts to narrow? You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden, like, oh, you got into a fight with your girlfriend a week ago. Your neighbor called the police and said you guys got into a loud argument.
There's
All of a sudden, you want to buy a gun? A little strange.
no, there's data
that was
that's-
last month.
There's data that says domestic abusers have a higher risk of being mass shooters.
Yeah.
So
And then in your
they're
head, you're like, no, what the hell? No, we were fighting about. I cooked. She didn't want to wash the
Yeah.
dishes. I disagreed. We got into a
Yeah.
little bit of a spat, but you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
it's like
but my
first
thing
instance,
is,
like,
it's like, and I'm just speaking from personal experience. I feel like it's one side of the world that's getting focused on so hard that the things get missed. So I just say inner city and the suburbs.
Mhm.
The inner city is focused on so hard that things go unseen when you're dealing with the suburbs.
Mhm.
Like for instance, when I went to the school in suburbs, I never heard a metal detector beat or nothing.
Yeah.
But when you really think about the mass shootings,
Yeah,
most of them happen in the suburbs.
Yeah.
And then
Or to
you,
make that
you have
point that,
schools
yeah.
where, like you
Like-
said, like the inner city schools, you would literally
Inner city schools,
like
it-
going through TSA to
when I
walk
was-
into school.
When I was going to school in the city, I had to walk through a metal detector every single day. I had to get my book bag checked every single day.
Mhm.
and they're kind of set up like East Side. I know is kind of set up like if something happens, you could just basically
Yeah.
lock it down. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they broke the school up into multiple parts like that. I remember when I was younger and the Sandy Hook shit happened, they were like, all right, that's it. Like clear bags every school.
Another thing that the
Right?
Yeah.
Remember they tried to push that? Like, oh, translucent bags, like we need to be able to see through your stuff. And then I remember it's always gonna be an issue, right? You said problems.
Yeah.
When you solve problems, it creates
New
sub
problems. Yeah.
sub
Yeah.
sub problems, right? Like moms, first thing were like certain moms are like, oh, like I have a 13-year-old, she has feminine products in her bag, like men shouldn't be able to see in it, like they're gonna tease her, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Valid case. Now as another person, like if this kid takes medication or they have to wear, bring extra underwear to school because they might have problems with their bladder and like their friends will see it and tease them. And so it just all this shit just starts creating like other things where it's like, like how do you actually solve the problem other than the fact that it's like, all right, boom, put an armed guard at schools in
But
front of
that's
the school.
There were
Not
three
in the school.
cops. There were 3 cops at the high school I was working at.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't going in high school in the suburbs. I seen the same one black cop. My whole 2 years there.
Is it married? We had a cop.
It was one black cop. I used to go to school late every day. So I guess around the time he used to do his route, he's like, "Oh, it's you again." And I just look like, I just go about my day. But that's the only cop I've ever seen. He never in the school or nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I just feel like the city is focused on so hard, and the suburbs is just like not paid attention to
It's
at
like-
all. So it doesn't surprise me, and I don't want to sound like brutal or wrong, but it doesn't surprise me that mass shootings happen because obviously we just spoke about copycat killers, and what really has changed,
Bro, I think back to the copycat. I think the more you showed it, I was thinking today, the more you showed in the media, I feel like the more it's gonna happen. Like there has to
Because
be.
it seems like you're rewarding the behavior in a way. You know,
That's how there's
of
some
like
people.
not to someone who's like rational would be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's not rewarded seeing that you're the murderer on TV.
Yeah.
But
Did
someone
y'all-
who's mentally ill will look at that and be like,
I remember.
I could be on the news.
I know it's a movie.
you know?
I know it's a movie, but in Batman, at the end, where Batman goes to see him, and then he finds out that like Batman stopped it all, and he's like not gonna be on the news, and he's
Yeah.
not gonna be famous for being
Yeah.
this worse. He was so upset.
You've ruined. Yeah.
You
Starts going like that.
ruined it for me.
Yeah.
This wasn't supposed to happen this way. You were supposed to.
Yeah.
And I feel like movies are a reflection of reality in a sense.
Yeah.
So like, there's people out there who
Like
truly
reality.
like they're like, wow, look at me on TV.
Bro, there's like every time something happens, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, all right, this is now the worst thing that has happened in the last 5 years.
Mhm.
We can't allow this to continue. We need to figure something out.
Yeah.
And fucking 3 years go by, and then something else crazier happens. And so, right, but you start to watch these people, and like we said, like their characters that they create. Like I said, like when I was younger, I remember Virginia Tech. I think it was like 2007, 2008 happened.
Yeah.
Remember it being like 8, 9. This was like when YouTube and shit, and you could, what was that other shit that they had? I forgot what the other streaming shit that they had. You could look up videos, but I was watching this dude's videos like as a 9-year-old, but not watching it because I was interested in like what he had to say.
Mhm.
I'm just like, what made this dude snap? And he had just like a diary entry, like daily. You just see like he just goes, all right, now he shaved his beard. Now he's skinhead. Now he started wearing just straight leather and black, and then now he's wearing eyeliner. And it's like you're just seeing these people progress. And then like even the dude that a couple years in Aurora when he did the shooting at the Batman movie, Dark Knight movie.
Yeah.
This dude started treating his own personal life like he was a Joker. When he got arrested, he had green and orange hair. He did that purposely. Like there was things that he did purposely. They said the people, survivors, said things that he was yelling out things from like the movie and like shit like that. It's like, how do you test people that start to, like I said, like disassociate them like their real life from a virtual life? Like the people online in those chat rooms, like some of them motherfuckers are literally coming home. Could be your boss, bro. Come home from a Fortune 500 company. They into some weird dark shit.
Yeah.
They just go home and chat in a chat room
on a-
at the end of the night or some shit like that.
on a
Like,
real
VPN,
real long-
going to
Yeah.
some weird chat
on a
room.
long shot, you think Web3 virtual reality could lower mass shootings if people have a way to express it?
didn't somebody just
And-
get raped in the metaverse or some shit like that?
You think, but if people have the ability,
Nah, that's not funny.
nah, you so
That's not funny,
It's
but
do you think if people
Someone
have,
said, "Close your laptop."
Real? What the fuck?
Log off,
How do
nigga.
you get raped in the metaverse?
Take the
how
goggles
don't
off.
you have 99 strength?
No.
Or right? Damn.
99 strength.
Yeah.
but you think if someone has,
Spin the
if people
cheat
have
code.
outlets to express it in there, they won't express it in real life?
No, I don't think so.
There's
Because I
nothing-
think
there's
people
Yeah.
obsess over online, they try to make that their real life.
But what if that becomes real life for people?
Yeah. I could see what you're
Maybe.
talking about. If it
And
becomes
imagine-
so convincing that it seems real, and yeah,
Like,
But
you don't got to go do it in
potentially.
real life. You did it in a video game.
But imagine that.
it would have to be
We
ultra
all
realistic.
sitting here in a virtual world with things over our eyes.
I mean, I
and
wouldn't
Russia
do it,
just
but-
rolls right in and just ping, 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 ping.
I'd be sick. God damn it! Take
'cause
off
we
the
over
virtual.
here. Oh, I'm a mob boss.
Yeah.
It's how I'm living my life on the straight and narrow in real life, but I'm a mob boss in the virtual. I'm just saying virtual. Walk right up to you, do you? It's over. Like, but something that you said that I feel like.
Oh, I
but
see
that-
what you're saying. Like in the game, you're a mob boss. Is someone
Yeah,
come and end
like-
you in real life?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's just like that won't be beneficial as a country, but
Oh,
like you were saying,
Yeah.
Asante, like I feel like before people get to that point where they really want to like follow through with something as drastic as that, they will start picking up characteristics, whether
Yeah.
they start dyeing their hair but once again, that's the reason why I feel like the city is focused on too much and the suburbs aren't. Because if something like that happens, like for instance, if somebody wears a white tee, blue pants, that's just typical fit. Then you come in with all black. That's just like
That's the point I was gonna
Unless
make.
it's
Thank you for
euphoria.
saying that. Exactly what you just said, bro. If they start making like just like what happened with that kid last year that went to school and he was about did he shoot his school or he didn't? But there was so many signs like in front of his parents' eyes that they had to charge his parents too. Remember we was talking about that last
Oh
year?
yeah.
They charged his
That
parents
wasn't
too.
last year. You're saying it wasn't that long ago.
It might have been like eight,
Yeah,
9 months ago.
that's what I'm saying. But that's
But,
how often they happen. now
Like
that
shit
you
like
forget.
that, bro. It's like you as a person, you have to see this person deteriorating into something else around you. Just
Yeah.
like if your friend starts using drugs, if a girl she's chilling with her friend, she sees her friend is pregnant, like you notice things about your peoples around you. So unless they were just like some loner and no one could pick up their mannerisms, and no one could notice any of this thing, and just like it's like, bro, you have to see some of these things. Like you don't see him walking around with a marble notebook, sketching all people must die, doing this, doing this. And it's like you as a
Parents
person,
gotta be more honest
those
with
things
themselves.
after the fact, like the manifestos one, because it kind of, I feel like when the news does report on that, they try to like appease to like a sympathy side.
Yeah.
That bothers me. And
But the
two is like, huh?
About the manifestos?
Yeah.
I've never read one with no sympathy in it. They'd be going crazy.
No. I'm saying when the news talks about it, like they'll be like, "Oh, this person said this drove them to this," and like you feel me? They try to appeal to that side. And the second thing would be like the people around it be like, "Oh yeah, like for weeks he wasn't answering my phone, and then it was weird. He just started like listening to heavy metal, and he was doing this, and it's like, so why didn't you speak to anybody? Why didn't you attempt to call a police officer? Why didn't you do this, bro? The day that kid shot up the school, her son got caught drawing, and they released the pictures of him shooting classmates, and it was like, come and pick him up for the day, and she was like, no, I spoke to him on his phone, like he said he's all right. Boy went in the bathroom, like an hour later, changed, came back out, lit the whole school up, bro. If this lady would took time out her day to come and pick her fucking son up, the kids did die, because I remember the football player died. A couple of kids, bro. If you as a parent would have went and checked in on your kid, other parents wouldn't be having to bury their child. Like everybody wants to be negligent to everything, bro.
I was getting to the point too, like when kids do stuff like that, they're probably gonna arrest the kid.
And parents want to be defensive too about their kids if the school does bring it up. Being like, yo, I'm the one being objective here. Like, your kid's a little weird, yeah. It's like whatever. Like, we go sort this out. But
we call him skinning a squirrel at recess. That's a problem.
Like, come on, like
the
your
fuck?
kid's a little weird. No, he's just a little different.
He's eccentric.
And
No.
also, if they use your guns,
I don't
bro,
know if you remember
nah,
that.
you
That
gotta
happened
take
when we
that,
was in school.
bro.
If they use your guns,
the kid,
you definitely need to be charged.
Yeah.
The only thing that happened to us at Hell
Nah, we had
somebody
somebody
called in a bomb
though.
threat.
But even like him, bro.
Because you don't want to take
We had someone.
Yeah,
we
a
had
kid called in
someone,
a bomb threat because he didn't want to take a test.
bro. That's nuts. We had a kid in our school, bro, who had a hit list with people's full names on it. But he did the same thing at another school, and all he did was kick him out that school and send him to another school.
This kid now has to be schooled at home. Like
that's not the crazy part. Remember what he did at the lunch table?
Oh, like
he was
going down the line of everyone on his list, like
on people on his list. He like walking in the lunchroom. I'm like, what?
And that's him playing that shit out in his. You feel me? So like,
yo, that ass, right?
You like that? That's like that's we laughing about it, but that could have easily turned into some shit, bro. Like that shit in itself is like, bro. And now you're cultivating a society where a kid might go to school because he's scared and he might have a gun on him, right?
Yeah.
And then now, what if this kid, he has his gun on him now in a loose possession? Now somebody else in the school got it. Now there's a fucking just a weapon just going around in the school. You feel me? It's just like you're creating so many niches for just other shit. For kids, psyche is already fucked up from being inside for the last 2 years.
That's the crazy.
Now they're actually going back to school. It's like, bro, I couldn't get killed virtually on Zoom. Like niggas can shoot me through my laptop in Zoom. They gonna want to go back home, bro.
The kids were just on Zoom
exactly, bro. And now they're back in school and they have to be.
You can't do Zoom now.
No, I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying in their mindset, it's like, bro, like I might have a cousin or I might have a friend or someone that lives on the other side of the country that I know went to school. Like, yo, that shit happened 10 minutes away from my school. Like it's just crazy shit. My brother, he works in Passaic County for the school system, and there was a threat against like 3 schools that they couldn't go to school for that day because they didn't know how serious it was. It was like an anonymous person online was just like, oh, I'm going to blank, 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 and blank schools today. And it was just, might have been a kid playing around, it might have been whatever, but the fact that they had to cancel a work day for that, like that's nuts,
and it's tough
bro.
too, because like back to incentives, like say someone was just joking, like you said, someone threw a bomb, said just get out of your school, right? And it worked. That now incentivizes the behavior, but it's so real in society that you have to respond.
Yeah,
to
you
it.
can't not.
You can't, because if you don't respond and something does happen, it's like you had a warning and you ignored it. That's negligent.
I also feel like school shootings and mass shootings, period, it don't hit until it's in your city. Like, because it's just like growing up, I've always seen mass shooting, but
Mm-hmm.
I've never worried about somebody shooting school up.
Me either.
Even in instances where it was a rumor or something like, yo, somebody got the knock there. So
Yeah, it wasn't until like 6th grade that we started. It was just fire drills. Then they were like, "Oh, we have to do an active shooter drill." What?
Oh yeah, I used to hate that. Being in a corner,
So-
like
Then the police would come and shake on the door, and
Yeah.
then you can't open the door
Like,
unless
that's gonna-
say if it's an
like that's
officer.
gonna
and
like
shit.
guns don't shoot through walls.
Like, bro, that shit was crazy to me.
Dude,
And
wait, are school walls thick enough to not for bullet nuts go through it?
Concrete, probably.
maybe
Yeah.
the realest some shit ever felt for me. I remember 6 months after that Mandalay Bay shooting happened, I went to Vegas, and I was walking on Strip, and I was looking at the area where it happened, and I was with my cousins and some of his boys, like we was drinking, we were enjoying ourselves, and I just looked at all the candles and shit, like the visual that they had, and I'm like, the night that shit happened, it was probably somebody the same just like us. We in Vegas enjoying ourselves, drinking. Nigga, I would have got pilled the same way.
Why did he do
Like
it?
I'm
then?
staying.
Why
I
did
don't.
he do it?
I don't know.
He had a reason, I remember.
Them shit is never important.
Yeah,
But
deadass.
it's like
But no, I think it is important.
It's
Because
never-
if you want
it's never
if you want to
important, bro.
if you want to get to the core reason of why these things happen, you can't ignore the person who did it. Because through them you find why it happened. So
But
you can't neglect them.
that's
It's
still
always
that's still
important.
their rationalization of irrational
Yeah.
But
act.
that's how you find the
Yeah,
core.
you're right.
Because that person's like, I don't trust that person.
but
Like
they
your brain
saying
don't work
they
right.
saying the last one
No?
happened in Texas because he was teased. So it was just
But he went and killed little kids.
Yeah.
None of
So
them little
now,
kids
so
tease
now
you.
understanding that,
Yeah.
what does that do?
So like
You just sound
it
stupid.
is important
You're a
'cause I-
sadistic fuck. And
like
you
I told
wanted
you
to kill
before.
people.
So like they
trying
found
to
data
justify
like a large group of people who do. It's like a characteristics of someone who does mass shootings. One, a large group of them are incels. Large group of them are.
I was
have,
an
like-
incel till I was 17. All right, fuck them.
But let me finish.
Get out of here.
Another group is like
They can't
the,
claim
like
that
how he
we're that
shot
young.
his grandmother. That happens often. Like violence against family, just
Yeah.
domestic violence.
Mhm.
So like
And
just
once
with those
once
two,
they break that barrier, a stranger's nothing to them.
what's those two characteristics? You can use those now to be like, yo, if you hate women, like that's all one thing. A lot of them also have a strong hate for women. If you like strongly hate women, you're an incel and you're a domestic abuser. You could like not that you're not that you're gonna do it, but like 30% chance increases, 40% chance increases.
But when you're 17,
I understand that.
You're a
Like,
domestic
I understand the
abuser,
data behind
incel.
it.
You never there's
at
people
17.
see you don't
Most 17-year-olds are incels. You ever
there's
feel-
people who
you know?
beat their parents up. There's people who beat grandmas up. They
Yeah.
shoot his guy shot his grandma in the head.
Yeah.
He's not that's
But he
crazy.
had a lot of. I'm not. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna call them double negatives.
Yeah.
Like as far as just like he shot his grandmother.
Mhm.
Then you say he get teased because he was same sex.
Oh really?
Then he was
didn't know that.
then he was transitioning. So he had a lot of like targets where it was just like
The reason why I say that shit don't matter, bro, is because
Snap.
after the fact, after the people's dead,
It's always
after
young men, too.
right,
Yeah.
the reasoning always comes out. But once again, it never like the dude that shot at the gay nightclub a few years ago in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Killed all those people.
Yeah.
He felt like gay people were unclean. I'm doing air quotes for all the people listening.
Yeah.
They were unclean and they need to be washed off the earth and all this extra irrational shit, right?
Yeah.
So
and
he
then they
said.
looked through his fucking history,
Yeah.
and then they figured out that he was like dabbling into like having same sex relationship.
that's crazy.
So it's like, bro, you hate what you are. So now your reasoning doesn't make no fucking
Exactly.
sense.
or someone found out.
The dude that was in that hotel room, he brought enough ammo to kill 200 and whatever people, right? My man still had more magazines and more clips, had them shits in suitcases in that hotel room, bro. And if they didn't catch him, he would have shot more people.
But
If he said, I think that work environments are really toxic and we should really check on our workers for mental health, and I did this because my boss, he really was strenuous on me. Does that matter after the fact? After now 200 people are shot and however many people is dead?
I think it's always like I don't like leaving things at base levels. I think it gets deep, and I think everything I see about gun violence, I feel like people have not this conversation. I mean, like people have very shallow shallow solutions, but I always think it's so deep. Like I think sometimes it goes beyond what we can fully understand. Like by just saying put background checks or there should be no AR-15s. I feel like that is not a deep enough response to what the real issue is. It's like Asante's saying, this guy brought 200 ammunitions worth to kill 200 people. Enough ammunition to kill 200 people because he thought gay people need to be cleansed. Bro, if you really go into the mind of that, it is so much deeper than that. It's not just, but people respond as if it's like, no, let's just do this. And that's just going to fix it. And then they demand it. It's like,
But
bro.
that's the thing is like the preventative measures matter more than the reasoning.
But I feel like you can't get the preventative matters until you know the reasoning.
I don't know if that's always true because
Yeah.
regardless of someone's reasoning for shooting and killing someone,
Yeah.
you can stop the act of shooting and killing someone
Mhm.
if you understand how they acquire the things to shoot and kill someone.
Yeah.
So not everyone's
But and that's where, like, I guess I'm also very curious. Would that actually stop people from getting guns? Because I feel like right now, me and you can go in the street right now and get a gun if we wanted to. If we really wanted to, we can go get a gun.
like I said, when you
store?
make something illegal, it's still
I
gonna
can get
happen.
anywhere.
It creates
Yeah.
an underbelly for it. You know?
Yeah.
Fucking make whatever illegal. People are still gonna sell it. People are still find a way to get to it.
Yeah,
But
there's
now when there's
been a war on drugs for the last fucking
exactly
50
when
years or whatever.
when there's
How's that
actual
shit going?
consequences behind it, then maybe it drops from 90% to 60%,
Yeah.
and that 60% drops to 40%.
Yeah.
But us just not doing anything because for the last since '99 in Columbine,
Yeah.
to fucking Virginia Tech in 2007, 2008,
Yeah.
to now, it's just been conversations the whole time. The fuck is a conversation for another 20 years gonna do?
Yeah. See, America has a very dilemma. America has a dilemma because it's supposed to be the land of the free, home of the brave, whatever. So you're supposed to be able to do
Anything.
anything you want to do. But now we're starting to get to a point where we're starting to demand steeper and steeper. It started here, but regulations keep getting steeper and steeper and steeper. It's going to get to a point where we're no longer, and that's how some people think. The very conservative is like, with land of the free, the more they take, you just give them an opening to keep taking more and more and more and more of your
Listen,
freedoms
bro.
away.
It's gonna be land of the free.
I'm just saying.
Open
I'm just
parentheses.
saying.
Within reason.
Yeah.
Close parentheses.
Home of the free and reason. Don't get too crazy now.
You
I'm
remember
just-
that fucking skit? She's like, welcome to such and such. You can have it your way, but don't get crazy.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not even trying to like sound biased, but
Yeah.
can we all agree that mass shoots, like school shootings, don't happen in the inner city?
Yeah, I haven't heard of one.
So
Yeah, honestly, right?
I've never heard of one.
that's the difference. Whereas though, like, we
So
gotta
you're right.
think
What are
like,
what is inner city?
because there's mentally ill people living in the inner city,
Yep.
and they're not thinking about having guns and
Hurting other people.
And it's
like
right.
hurting other people.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's
That's the thing
easy-
is like
and it's easy.
I
to say.
mean,
Maybe they
murder-
think about
self-harm.
it,
There's
and-
so
but they
many
can't.
and
there's-
murder is different than mass shootings.
Exactly.
A murder, like, people could get high off something, kill someone,
Yeah.
wake up in jail, and be
Yeah.
a Zan.
all fucked up.
A Zan will do that.
Mass
your face
shooting, it's something something else got to click up there.
Bro, I'm like, from the manifestos I've read, it's really the sense of like, damn the world, I gotta make the world pay. Like this, the world is corrupt, is cruel. It's like you completely.
That sounds
snap.
like privilege to me. That sounds like for you to like get mad at the world, period. Like it's supposed to operate for you.
Yeah.
It sounds like some sort of privilege. Whereas if you think most people are coming from like the opposite side of privilege is, I guess let's just call it oppressed. If you automatically accept that the world isn't on your side and you're not
Yeah.
expecting to get nothing from the world,
Yeah.
Bro, I could if I woke up tomorrow and the world stripped me of everything I've ever had, all my clothes, my sneakers, my crib, and I'm on the streets. Bro, I did this and you put a gun in my hand. Nothing is gonna click in my head where I need to go kill multiple people that have nothing to do with
you
my
probably
exact
gonna try to hit
situation.
a couple licks.
Which is exact like, bro, once again, playing devil's advocate, bro, I'm not saying anybody else should have been killed rather than little kids.
Yeah.
But if the people that are bothering you are arm's reach, why are you not? You feel me? Like, why would you
And-
go to a school that you don't attend?
You gotta go
Or-
to the mind of a
Or
dark-
was there someone at that school that when he was that age, they set him on this path or what?
So-
Like, it's just, it's
so
so
go
many
into-
other little
You gotta go
details,
to the
bro.
mind of a very dark person. Killing you is too easy. If I kill you, you don't suffer. How do you make the world suffer the most? you kill the innocent who don't deserve
But
it at all.
that's
And
my
who-
thing.
but
And it's
who's
like the
most
world
innocent?
isn't bothering you, my nigga.
But that's
You have
but-
an issue with one group of people.
but-
You have an issue with one thing or one this whatever. So
but
when
Santi,
you start,
you're thinking about it too logically.
but I'm saying you're thinking about it from a logical perspective.
No, I'm thinking about it from a madness.
No,
like,
I'm not saying you're seeing it from their point of view. I said
Oh.
you're thinking about it from like Christian Lopez is thinking about it from a logical
No,
perspective.
no. I'm trying to think of it like if I went mad.
Not, but you're putting yourself in their shoes. I'm saying
Yeah.
you're speaking
You
about it
can't be mad
logically.
if you write a
right?
manifesto,
People,
But do you ever read one of them?
people,
but you can't be mad because
exactly, and people,
Nah, it's just crazy.
people don't use that shit for a reasoning to be like, oh, let's get to the bottom. People be like, oh, but he was this. Oh, but he was this. Oh, but it becomes an excuse,
Yeah,
not
I
a
don't-
reason.
I don't care more about that. I'm thinking like
That's what I'm saying. You don't care about
no, I'm
that.
thinking of like the
But
person.
when people hear those reasonings out loud, they create excuses for people.
No, I'm saying why the
Yeah.
person would not kill. Not, I'm thinking more why the person wouldn't kill you and would go do something like shoot up a school of little kids.
I know, and that's why I said
Yeah.
you're thinking about that from
Actually,
a logical perspective
I
in Christian's
probably got
mind.
the answer to
But
that.
other people, they'll just be like, oh, like, what did you expect him to do? You know, his whole life, he was teased and he never had a chance.
I probably my
like,
fault, guy.
Bro, they did the breakdown and the amount of money this kid spent on those weapons, and they're like, bro, 9 bands, bro.
on a credit card.
Minimum.
Damn.
Minimum. If I was getting fucking made fun of for my gear and I had access to 9 bands, that 9 bands is going to the body.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna just, you feel me? I'm gonna amp my shit up. So it's like there's something else. There's something else, and it has to be some type of characteristic or whatever that people will be able to pick up on, and it would come from studying manifestos, studying those things. But instead, it's not portrayed like that. It's they did this because of whatever, or this person was dealing with this, or this person was dealing with that. They showed a fucking picture of like a dad on a jet ski with like his family behind him. I think you might have shared it, and it was like, oh, this is the picture they'll use when like a dad like kills his whole family. but with a black man or if somebody else get in trouble, they using that mugshot that they took that day. Like, why are you showing a picture of him on his vacation with the family that he killed? Show me his mugshot.
But I think you hit it right on the head as far as like why he chose the elementary school, because you know how they say like if a person experiences trauma at a certain age, sometimes if the trauma is that severe,
they stay
at that age.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, like in elementary school, that was probably when he first started to come into the awareness of I'm different.
Yeah.
Maybe he saw a boy in shorts and he saw a girl in a dress and he felt like he liked the dress better than the shorts.
Yeah.
So instead of going to the high school and them being his targets, he went back to where it all started.
Yeah.
Because that's where his trauma started.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to go deeper. Like, that's going deep. Like, that's thinking about it. I feel like people just try to stay too shallow about it. It's like, yo, no, this. Like, when you talk about wicked, it's not just like, oh, that person's wicked, man. It's crazy. They're crazy, man. It's just crazy people, bro. It's just crazy people in the world. It's like, no, bro. Like he's saying, yo, no, that kid at 10 got traumatized. He stuck with it. He contemplated. He meditated on that trauma for 10 years.
I still feel like it's something different because for years, the way to draw attention to yourself was to go to a monument or a landmark and jump off it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I still feel like it's something else has to click.
Yeah.
Whereas like
you want to hurt other people.
Yeah, you want to hurt other. Like for instance, have you ever seen the movie Rampage?
Yes. Which one are you talking about?
Wait, with the Rock?
Oh no, it's about this kid who just like the whole movie literally just going around shooting people.
And I never heard that.
That's the whole movie, going around shooting people. And I'm not going. It's a certain factor to it that it will draw you into it and make you watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
So just imagine like you being 17. No, let's go younger than that, 13, and you watch Rampage and you dealing with all these other problems. Yeah. It's not even because even at the end of that series, I think it was 3 movies, they tried to switch it into like a positive political thing. You just killed like 800 people.
And you also have to think about this, bro. If some of these people, it's not just they snap, right? It's like that'll be some shit that they really want to do, right? Perfect example. Everything that's going on right now, people just getting a bunch of people shot. If that person was to make it out of that situation, not get caught, not even a whiff of who it was, right? Do you think that would be I'm a nut, like on some Thanos shit? They sitting like I did my job, like I did what I need. No, they would do the shit again. Like I
They want credit.
a month ago, I was
I think
watching
so, Jace.
a documentary that they're talking about the DC sniper, right? His shootings, bro, he shot 22 people over the span of like 3 months, bro.
Mhm.
And whenever like he got the death penalty and shit for it, but his whole premise was that he felt like it.
But
He felt like it.
I got a tough question for y'all.
Mhm.
Should Marvel be free?
No,
Marvel,
even though
Marvel was the shooter.
even though he
The
was a
father
kid,
was the driver. Of the
nah, they both shot. But I think I don't know because he was a kid, and it's kind of like hard for a kid to like if an adult is telling you
a tough question.
if
Who's Marvel?
an adult is telling you to do this,
DC snipers.
he was only I think 15
Mhm.
when it
He was
happened.
15.
But like parents train their kids to shoot and do all this other shit all the time. So it's like, but the shit that they were shooting, no one could locate them because they were shooting out of a car, bro, and they weren't shooting out of the side of a car.
Wait,
They
you don't know about the DC snipers?
they hollowed out the trunk, right? The keyhole that you put in back in the day. They fucking cut a bigger circumference than that, mounted the gun there, and they were shooting people from a
From the
moving
trunk.
car from the trunk. Broad daylight. No one knew where the bullets were coming from. They did it for 3 months.
It was like a
And the
moving
only reason
sniper
why they got
nest.
caught is because they got sloppy at like one gas station.
Fell asleep in the truck of resting area and wasn't supposed to be there. Cop pulled up and he just so happened to see them sleeping.
The only reason why they got caught. So it's like some of these people, it's not just something just snap and they feel like they gotta go hurt. That's in certain people, bro. That shit right there, that's in certain people. And as much as
I think that's I've read something once.
But
as
I'm not
much as a
gonna lie.
society,
I
like
think
we like to think that shit is not and that it's always a turning point. There's some people that's just you're
But-
born a certain way, bro,
I
and you
think
just
you gotta
enjoy
be-
certain shit.
You got to be wary of solutions that are reasons that are too simple, because it's never that simple.
Bro, that
just-
shit
I
is
think
in
even
some
if,
to
people.
like,
come
you
to a
do
conclusion
figure
like,
out the
it's just
reason
in
that-
people. I think it's deeper than that.
It's
that
not an
doesn't
and, it's
stop
in some people. That shit is bad and it's in
the
some
shooting
people.
from
I think it's
happening.
deeper than that.
But
Still,
Marvel was a trained assassin.
Yeah, you could think about it that
Yeah.
way, Chris. But there's certain
good
people
job.
like I
that
think,
enough for them is just because I felt like it, bro. There is no his
but it's like, why did he feel that way?
Chris. You can
I
do
think-
that till you get to the atom. But at the end of the day, certain
yeah,
people
no,
are
it
the
was
way they
just-
are because they're
because
that way.
you got to think about it. There was back in the day, right before all this technology, there was someone who thought if you dance, you would make it rain. And it's like, why? Well, you just do this dance. It's ancient. You just dance, it's gonna rain. And I think that's just the same thing differently. There's gonna get to a point in time where we actually figure it out. It might be 30 years, 40 years. And you'll be like, oh, it's because of this.
Yeah,
this,
but
and
we
this.
like to think that every experience creates human behavior. But there's certain things within our own mannerisms
Yeah.
that we didn't pick up from a life lesson
Yeah.
or an experience, or that's just us.
I'm not saying it could be. I'm saying we don't know what it is. It's
I'm
deeper.
not saying for everybody
Yeah.
that's the case. That's why I said for some people,
Yeah.
that shit is just in them. They felt that video of that little kid that just went viral like last week. He said he likes killing, and when he wants to grow up, he wants to kill people.
Mhm.
He could be playing video games right now, or he could have been a fucking sheltered kid somewhere and just be like, nah, like that's just some shit I think is cool.
Mhm.
But it's like not everything with everybody
Mhm.
happens because of this certain reason. Like,
Yeah.
I know motherfuckers that's like, I can see why you're in the streets, bro. You grew up, you had no fucking family at home.
Mhm.
You had to go home, watch your mom pass out doing drugs and shit.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't even have 25 cents to have a bag of chips to eat.
Mhm.
I understand why you're in the situation you're in.
But then,
and there's some motherfuckers
it's
that will
important too.
come from a silver spoon
Yeah.
and drive from their fucking
So-
mansion to go chill in the hood like Nunu in Atlanta.
So this is something I just learned too that really blew my mind. It's an economic principle too. So a lot of times we believe in like, and when I say this too, I didn't preface it enough. We believe in like intentional causation. To say that like a basic way to say it is black people are doing bad because of racism. That's intentional causation. But then there's systemic or systematic causation, whereas things happen because there are multiple things going like we're creating this podcast because you're doing something, he's doing something, Sean's doing something, I'm doing something all at the same time, which creates this one event. And I think it's that deep. Like when I say deep, I'm thinking that way. Like there are multiple things all going on at the same time. And the result of all this are the things we see in society now. And when I say people think get too simple, it's like if we just change this, this would all stop. And if everything's happening just because of this, and that's the reason for everything. And I'm like, no, man, there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, there definitely is. That's why I said for most people that shit is just you have to monitor the people around you. Like I've grown up with people, and I could be like, I can perfectly understand why you did some shit like that.
Yeah.
I played football with a kid who he's doing like 70 years, bro, for standing over someone in broad daylight and killing him.
God damn.
As a kid, that nigga was, you feel me? So it's like, I don't think he was a bad person ever, but I think that whatever triggers he had or whatever, you feel me, created the person he is. Like that just became who he is.
I still think that's a difference. It's like as far as like him sparking somebody in broad daylight. Because it's just like, I mean, where's he from? I don't want to say where is he from.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so it's like, well, that's the question I ask myself, because we all know in the city there's a certain level of aggression. Like, whereas like if you're living in the suburbs, you can be more laid back. Now, for instance, like if a kid from the suburbs just stand over somebody and just spark them, it's just like, why do you have that certain level of aggression? But when you're living in the city and you got people on top of each other, and then obviously you're dealing with a lower level of, like just like
desperation.
Yeah. So it's just like, you kind of can understand.
It's like the thing we said before about people being hungry.
Yeah,
people
like,
hungry, they get a little irrational.
It's crab in a barrel
people.
effect.
Yeah, you got too many people. It seems like there's not enough out here for the rest. All of us, a couple people gonna have to get, people gonna justify that, right?
But it's just like like Asante said, it's something that you gotta have in you. But in reality, it's just like, I feel like that's just another thing in the instance of greater good.
Yeah.
Would you save you, or would you save these 5 people? Like if it came to it, like if it came to saving yourself or 5 people, what would you do?
Probably the 5 people.
What about you? Be honest.
Oh man, scenario would probably matter. Yeah, scenario would matter. Probably I'll say myself just to say opposite what Asante said.
So if you'll save yourself, then we can say that you probably have a little bit of it. Because if you could just watch 5 people die, then that means you have to have a little bit of mass shooting.
But it's like, all right, bears chasing us. It's every man for himself at that point. Wow, you want me to go back get
saving
eaten so
5
the 5
people,
of y'all could get away?
Saving 5 people.
Why don't one of you lay down your
people.
life so the 5 of us could get away? Is how I would look at it. But now I got 5
but
kids.
It's the morality thing where it's like you're on a
coaster?
track, right? That's heading off of a train, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're on a
wouldn't
track
sacrifice
that's heading
5
off of a
people.
cliff. You signed up to
myself.
be on this train. You paid for your ticket, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
you weren't forced into a scenario. You made a natural choice to be on this train. Now this train is going off a cliff. Now you can pull the lever and go to the right? But to the right, there's 5 people walking on the track that you'll kill instantly. Do you save yourself in the train, or do you kill the 5 people?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so like that's the
But
whole
is
morality.
it in the same that maybe I heard it somewhere, but in that same like story, it's like, okay, you killed yourself, but you just saved 5 mass murderers, or like there's something like that in the story too.
What if I'm gonna go on to cure cancer?
What you don't know, like you don't know if, not to say like if the contribution to society, your contribution to society would have been greater than those 5 people's contribution to society. So by you might have saved 5 people, but by killing yourself, you also sacrificed millions of people.
Yeah, but
like, I can name drop real quick. If I don't want to say it wrong, I name wrong. I believe it's Seneca Falls. She basically is the cure for diseases because her blood cells multiply. So given that her blood cells multiply, they could run repeated trials and come up with cures faster for diseases. She ended up developing, I think, stage 1 cancer early. She was going by next year, I believe. She was going. Then they illegally started using her body. I'm using her blood as testing for testing, and if her family was always in a lawsuit battle about it. Now she lost her life. I believe she was like, I don't. Her name's not Cynical Falls. Cynical Falls is in Central. It was in New York.
Mhm.
We gotta get her. We gotta get her name, but
Mhm.
it's that thing of like she lost her life,
Mhm.
but she's saving 1000000s.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is like
Morale,
I
man.
have on my license that I'm a donor, and then I've heard people that say like, "Oh, I didn't put a donor on my license because if you go to a hospital and you're kind of like on the fritz, that they'll let you die so they can use your." And I'm like, if enough people believe that, then enough people won't be donors. And what's the chances of all those people?
You
Like,
know,
you might live to 80 and die naturally in your sleep.
you know what's funny?
So now, hold on,
Yeah.
now you're not a
Oh,
donor.
my bad. Henrietta Lacks. That's her name.
Okay. Now you're not a donor.
Yeah.
And someone else could have, like really used whatever you had in your
Yeah.
body, and then you denied it just because of one instance where it could be a possibility of your life versus someone else.
Yeah. I was it. That's like I took a ethics. I'll tell you for us after, but ethics, like what you guys are saying is like everyone has their own set of morals and ethics in which they make decisions. Like, there's some people, no matter what, morally, they would always sacrifice their life to save the 5 people. Some people be like, depending on what God told me to do in the moment. And then some people are like, well, I'm a PhD doctor saving millions of lives. What are they doing? They're walking on the tracks. Why would I kill myself?
But that's the thing. What if
Yeah.
you're that doctor and you kill those 5 people, but one of those, that's the guilt
Yeah.
that I think I would live with.
But I was
It's like no matter what my life equated to, what one of those 5 people could have been.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's not a weight I want to bear versus 5 people have to think about one person that sacrificed themselves for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we gotta start wrapping up.
That's what happens when you talk about good shit.
I'm not saving 5 people unless I feel there's a possibility
I don't know.
that I could also live.
Listen.
You know,
I do enough good in this world.
there needs to be a little
Listen.
possibility I could live too. You know, if I could pull the thing and jump off the train, I'll do that.
Well, how fast the train go? It might be a dub, bro. You jump off.
Yeah,
bro.
that's
No,
what my
I just need a
stipulation.
chance, bro.
If a train leaves a station at, I used to hate that question. Fuck you. Distance. What is it? Distance over rate equals time. Distance over time
Oh
equals
my
rate.
god. What? Cheating.
Hated it.
She used to tell me.
Oh man. Nah, but time to start rapping. This is a good conversation. Definitely something that
Needed.
it's always gonna be an open-ended conversation. You're never gonna have a fucking solution, but you have to start taking steps in some type of direction.
And stop having basic ass conversations in your group chat thinking you're making a difference.
Yeah.
No, stop getting tight about it.
Everybody's an
Stop
activist.
losing friends over shit that you actively not trying to affect.
Yeah. Because you losing friends.
You
No
didn't
one,
go to a rally?
bro, no one knows what to do.
You went to one.
Like, let's be
Relax.
serious. No one knows what to do. No one has a real
Yeah.
solution.
No,
So you're
that's
better
right.
off discussing it and having abstract conversations.
Yeah.
And like thinking about what would work.
Let's not forget last shooting y'all was electric sliding in North. That is not okay.
Someone, what happened?
At the last Black Lives Matter rally, they was doing the electric slide. So
Yo, that's another. I want to have a conversation about how effective you think protests are in 2022. That's another conversation though.
I feel like it's a function.
We can go. Wait, hold on. That's it.
Facts.
You can go about
I'll
that
have
for
to see,
hours.
yeah.
That's another conversation. That's a to be continued. That's more
You
to
going
come.
to the rally? I'll be there. I got the bottle.
Yo, there was a couple of Black Lives Matter protests that definitely seemed more like a hangout than a protest.
They was in the middle of the street doing a Cupid shuffle.
Yeah, you'd see videos come out of them. You're just like, yeah,
Like,
now
yo,
they chilling, bro.
what?
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
So
man.
But we appreciate you guys for tuning in, whether you made it to this point, whether you start listening after 15 minutes. Appreciate you for giving us a chance. Follow everybody on their social medias at SJ1_, right?
underscore S.
Oh, yeah, underscore Just1.
He's getting shaky.
At
Yeah,
CB.
bad.
He's losing his talent.
CB.Lopez, or I don't know his that name by heart. CB.Lopez.
Isn't
At,
there underscore after Lopez?
no, at J Square. And follow our pages on Twitter at the
I
DGC
deleted my
underscore.
Twitter.
And what?
I deleted Twitter.
Why?
I'll tell you later. That's a whole nother episode. That could be a whole hour conversation too.
Your personal Twitter?
Yeah,
Okay.
my personal. That's a whole hour conversation. I go off about that.
And on Instagram at the Demigod Chronicles _ on YouTube at mastered _ sorry, no _ space studios. You can follow myself at _ demigod _ and MSTRD _ studio spelled with a V. Chris, at the people some Spanish.
Gracias por escuchando. Yo espero que el próximo tiempo tú escuches también. Que tengas. No, que tengo. No. Never mind. I fucked up. But I hope you have a good week.
Yeah, and for all you niggas out here, all right, just because last summer y'all was in fucking
Que tengan.
and one shorts, knickerbockers down to y'all knees, all right? Don't.
What you just said?
I said knickerbockers.
Oh, wait, say that
Alright?
again?
That was Asante.
Say that.
If you're only listening to audio, that was Asante. Everybody knows. that.
Jace, what'd you just call me?
What that mean? You need to leave.
You need to leave. Yeah, man. I've been go look at the episodes from last summer, man. I've been on these short vibes, man. Fuck out of here. Y'all ruined everything.
I think women
And
call
then-
him hoochie dad.
Nah, if anybody called me hoochie daddy this
Bro,
summer,
I've
I'm
been-
swinging.
what you
on
talking
it.
about?
No,
Yo, Santi, I had you last summer, 2 summers ago. I had you to put designs on my old.
Yeah,
on my,
bro.
We've been on
the
this.
crazy
man. Been on
thing
this.
is, they really got men out here rocking their hips and wearing hoochie dash.
Nah. Short shorts, I'm cool with that.
I like 2 inches
Short
of butt.
shorts is cool with me. Shorts, period, is just cool.
Yeah,
2 inches
Do
above
not,
me.
do not
Rocking your
walk up
hips
to
is
me
nuts.
and say, "Oh, you got your hoochie dash."
Nah, I hate that.
That
shit.
is that
Yeah.
you're not gonna.
Anything.
You're not doing that.
Yeah, nah. We out of here. Ow. It's hot as
They're
fuck.
like
What?
ads.